Okay. I'll probably just call this one. You're just here to suffer and die, and that's it. There's nothing else to it. So, really, why make it worse for yourself? Really. And I'm bringing this up because, at least in my own life, and I'm sure you guys know people like this, maybe you're one of them, but they'll stress themselves out over getting the latest gadget and how they're going to pay for it, or making their house payment when they got way too big of a house, or making a car payment for this brand spanking new car they just had to have, thinking it would make them happy, when it just makes them more miserable because they got to spend time doing shit they hate just to maintain the payments on it, or being stuck in a relationship they just want to get out of, or trying to desperately get into one, or you name it. The list goes on and on of things that we just burden ourselves with constantly. When really, we don't need to. You can live a much happier, simpler life. You don't need all this crap. You don't need to make it worse for yourself to prove anything to anybody. There's no point to it. Certainly not impressing someone like me, because I don't care. I don't even care about the shit I do have, really. I care about it insofar as it works and it's already, paid for and affordable. It's reasonably priced, let's put it that way. I'm not going to have to spend too much extra time at my job. I'm not going to have to go hunting for overtime. And in a time like now, yeah, it's getting harder and harder to do. So, really, if you just bear these two simple things in mind, you're just here to suffer and you're here to die. Neither one of those are fun. So, there's no point in just making it worse for yourself. You're already in a terrible situation. Why make it a extremely terrible situation where you spent your whole life burdening yourself with things that just did not matter remotely? What people think of you, what car you're driving, what home you live in, what gadgets in your pocket, or you can go on, or how many vacations you took that were expensive as fuck. Um, the list goes on. And you just realize you just worried yourself to death and burned yourself to death, and early death. Mainly the suffering part is more the problem, but death sort of entails that before you get the release from it, as far as we know. Um, for really nothing. You didn't really gain anything. The stuff that you get, just anything I could think of I've ever bought that I just had to have, barring very, very few things. Just weren't as satisfying once I got them. Once I acquired that item or thing or whatever, or got to sleep with that person, or whatever, it just wasn't as satisfying as it was when it was in my imagination, or the anticipation of it, or getting a even like a better job or something like that, which I've just hopped from job to job before I finally found the one I got, which pays me quite a bit more than the other ones. And I thought, yeah, I made it, all this sort of stuff, and it's just like, now what? It's just not as satisfying. Now you got to keep looking for more stuff because your desire just never shuts off. You're always going to want more and more and more and more. When you could just sort of look at life and say, what do I need to get through this? How am I going to sail this vessel of mine that I got? I mean, we don't really have free will or anything, but what would be the smartest course of action here? Should I burden myself with a bunch of crap that is gonna maybe at most impress somebody for a few seconds or make them jealous of me for a little bit? Or am I just gonna focus on getting what I need and just not worry about it? And I'm choosing option B. I found it's worked out so much better in my life once I started doing it. I don't. I'm doing the opposite of what all these motivational speakers and all these fucking entrepreneurs and whatevers are out there. Because I've seen a decent amount of those videos recently. They just keep popping up on my feed, so I'll watch them. I've thought about doing a response to some of them, but or a reaction, I guess, whatever. Because there's nothing to respond to. They don't leave you anything to respond to. Just some sort of vague thing of like. One of them was literally just do it. Was one of the speakers like, whatever it is, just do it. I'm like, okay, just do what? Just do what? And this is like a multi-billionaire. It's like, okay, so if I just do something, I'll get $1 billion. Right? Okay. Um. Yeah. But really, again, I'll just bring it back to the main point. Like, no matter who you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you've done, no matter who you're with, no matter what car you drive, no matter what house you live in, no matter how high paying your job is, or the list goes on, or how well liked or disliked you are. It doesn't matter. You're just here to suffer and die. That's it. Even if you have kids, even if you were a useful tool for life, life really has nothing for you once you've done it. And life certainly doesn't give you any favors because you decided to go against it. It's a it's a trick, really. I don't know how to put it. I wish I could say it better, but it's like a lot of people are just hypnotized by it. And I catch myself in it sometimes if I have like a good moment, like, yeah, things are going to be looking up. And then I just sort of realize, no, I'm just fooling myself. I'm just really fooling myself. And really, if you gotta, like I put in one of the videos, I think it was like chase your needs, not your dreams. Like, your dreams are stupid. Don't waste your time on them. Despite what all those fucking life coach, whatever the fuck people may tell you, where your dreams are all that matters. That's just a surefire way to give yourself fucking anxiety. Because, like that billionaire speaker guy I was thinking about, like, how many of those guys went out to be, or gals went out to be billionaires? Probably zero. Probably zero of them went out and became a billionaire after listening to one of his talks. They just got more anxious and amped up and depressed at their own life, wondering wondering where they went wrong when it wasn't really their fault. A lot of that boils down to luck and all that sort of stuff, or having a good idea that is marketable that can net you a lot of money. And most people just don't have that. And there's no point in just hurting yourself, beating yourself up over something that just wasn't going to work out in the end. But what's available to everyone is to suffer and die, and that's what life has given you. Um, I'm not immune, no one's immune. And I think if we could kind of sit back and look at it, just really take a step back, like even the people that we hate, like I'm not saying just go up and give them a hug or something, but even the people you hate or like the people you love and like they're not going to be coming, they're not going to be around forever, and they're going to experience their share of that too. Because like Schopenhauer says, everyone pays the peculiar price for their existence. They pay their own price. It doesn't matter. Even if you're like these rich billionaires or life coaches, like these guys have to be motivated all the time because they got to bilk an audience. They got to pretend to be all about it all the fucking time, 24/7. They got to tweet and be on Facebook. And can you imagine having to? Oh man, I can't imagine a worse hell than that. Really, life is bad enough as it is, but doing oh man, just having to pretend to be happy here. Oh man, I can't do that. Just seems horrible to me. I kind of feel bad mainly for those type of people because it's like they don't see it. They just think that life is all about them acquiring shit, and they feel like they're doing other people a service by amping them up, getting their desires all worked up, and getting them all worked up and anxious and nervous and oh, am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? Oh, he just said to just do it, but just do what? I don't know. I mean, I have this dream for a business. I want to open a bakery or something. Maybe that'll get me $50 billion or whatever the fuck. And it just doesn't pan out. It normally doesn't. And people like that tend to ignore like all the little people that they need to get that kind of money. Um, Not everyone can be a life coach, and thank God. I would hate to live. This world would be just. Oh my God, I would hate to live on this fucking planet if about every other person you met was a life coach or a billionaire trying to fucking get you motivated or something. Good Lord, I'd just be like, please take me out now. I'd buy a one-way ticket to Switzerland. But I'm preaching the opposite. Like, you don't need any of that crap. Fuck all that. You don't need billions of dollars to get through your life. Generations of people have done it. Um, you don't need to be well liked by people. Generations of people have done it. You don't need a lot of shit. Generations of people have done it before you. Just fine. They served their goal. They got to the end point. They suffered and died. Really for nothing. Just like you will. And they didn't need, a lot of them didn't need all the frills, and they lived actually probably a much happier, I want to say almost more fulfilled existence than we did. Because they didn't amp themselves up. They didn't let their dreams get in the way of them living their life. And besides that, this is a place where dreams come to die, anyways. Like, just think about it. As soon as you wake up from sleeping and you had a dream or something, where does that dream go? Oh, yeah, it's dead. It doesn't come out here into the real world, it's gone. Um, So yeah, and same with your hope. Fuck your hope. Hope for what? You're in a hopeless situation. Very terrifying situation. And I think if more people could get on board with that, there would probably be we'd probably live on a much better planet. And as an American, like this whole Medicare for all thing and all that healthcare, like something everyone's going to need at some point, whether you're poor or rich, like why can't we just subsidize that with our tax dollars? I never understood it. People were thinking someone just wants a free ride until they need it and then they're all about it. When most people aren't just going to be lazing around on their fucking couch asking for handouts, I don't think. You know how boring that would get? Come on. Somebody was crippled for just like 3 months and couldn't do much, who had to depend on other people to help them out to get out and about and get groceries. Stuff, just simple tasks. I couldn't walk out my front door, and it took me about a good, let's say, even after I was able, like, technically healed up, it took me about a good 6 months, maybe longer, to actually start walking without limping all the fucking time. Yeah, I was glad to actually go out and do some shit. I think most people are like that. They're not just going to laze around. But I'm getting off topic here. But yeah, really, you're just here to suffer and die, so there's not really a whole lot to worry about here. Even planet Earth will come to an end. It's one of the few merciful things about life is it's temporary. Um, so yeah, just bear that in mind. No matter how bad it gets or how good, especially if how good it gets, we can all be reminded of that with how bad it gets. But when it gets really good, just don't set your hopes too high that it's going to keep going forever, or that you'll be riding this gravy train for very long. If and when it ever does come to you, it'll set you back down to earth real quick when you realize, yeah, I'm just here to suffer and die, aren't I? Shit. Um, so yeah, and you don't worry about it as much either. I think, yeah, it was Hank Williams from the same song I quoted in another video. Another line. I love Hank Williams, by the way. I'm just gonna say that much. I grew up around all these country artists, I guess, but he said something. I'm not gonna worry wrinkles in my brow because nothing's gonna be all right, no how. No matter how I struggle and strive, I'll never get out of this world alive. And it's one of my favorite songs, honestly. So why worry too much? Why burden yourself with unnecessary horseshit when the game was rigged from the beginning? I think there was some game that said that, but the game was rigged from the start. You were fucked the moment you came here, and I guess to quote another song, because why not? Condemned to die before you could even breathe. Uh, Funeralopolis by Electric Wizard. Couldn't have said it better myself. But yeah, you no matter which way you go, you're fucked. Just don't forget that. And I think life will be a lot better for you if you just accept it. Really, if you truly accept it that you're just here to suffer and die, a lot of the shit that used to matter to you just don't. I can only speak from my experience, but it's helped me quite a bit. So if it helps you, great. I'm not. I mean, yeah, if you want to kill yourself, knock yourself out. I don't care. I just think suicide's kind of a waste of time because I'm dead anyways. So, anyways, I think that's it. So, thank you for listening. Have a good one.